on for another few days or, God forbid, another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off.
Federal workers are now facing furloughs with the government shutdown in day one. We'll take a look at the national and local impacts.
How's a councilman responding to calls for his resignation? That's coming up.
And those storms we've been talking about for the last week to 10 days, those are continuing to push away, but the surf is going to stay rough for the next really week or so. We're going to break down when things finally settle down in a few minutes.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 4 p.m.
We are taking a live look at the Capitol. It is day one of government shutdown with both Republican and Democratic leaders at a stalemate over how to move forward. Now, both parties are blaming each other while paychecks for hundreds of thousands of federal workers are on pause.
Erica Brown has the latest from Washington, D.C.
In the wake of a partial government shutdown, some government offices went dark, with thousands of federal workers told to stay home, and the blame game is in full swing.
The Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government.
With Congress failing to pass a short-term funding bill, about 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed. The Trump administration is also threatening mass firings as some government offices are shuttered. Republicans want to extend funding at current levels, but Democrats are holding out for concessions on health care, including extensions of Affordable Care Act subsidies and reversals of cuts to Medicaid.
They're boycotting negotiations because they want premiums to go up on people in this country. They don't want to be held accountable.
I just say to my Democrat colleagues who want to work on this, fantastic, that's great. Let's not hold hostage all of these innocent Americans.
Government workers deemed essential, like air traffic controllers, TSA, and military personnel, will stay on the job but are required to work without pay.
A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
With thousands out of work nationwide, the pain could be widespread and cost the U.S. economy hundreds of millions of dollars a day.
It could cause a little bit of a dent in the economy, but I don't think that's the issue. I actually think it's a much more personal issue that these people are going to struggle, and the people where they shop are going to struggle.
This is the first government shutdown in nearly 7 years, with little sign of any breakthroughs. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Taking a live look at Orlando International Airport from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope cam. Many people have questions about how the government shutdown will affect Central Florida's airports, especially when it comes to potential delays or even cancellations. News 6's Mark Lehman is at MCO with what to expect.
Hours into the government shutdown, travelers we spoke with say they weren't too worried about what they would encounter today as they walk through TSA. Those questions, however, will be increasing about what things will look like as the stalemate drags on for days or possibly longer.
And then to have this come out like the night before we leave, it's really annoying.
Sue Ellen Bullock is beginning her vacation by learning about the partial government shutdown and the effect it could have on her return flight home. What kind of concerns do you have with the shutdown?
Just anything could happen, getting stuck here, canceled flights.
TSA agents and air traffic controllers are considered essential federal employees and will continue to work but without pay. That also means things could get messy if the shutdown drags on.
I was a mailman for 34 years, so I know what the hassle is about not getting paid.
Many remember the 34-day government shutdown in 2018 when roughly 10% of TSA workers called in sick, driving up screening times at airports across the country.
Coming back probably in another week or two, there may be a little slowdown, or call out.
The airport releasing a statement today saying in part the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority does not anticipate that operations at MCO will be affected, and we hope there will be a resolution soon. Meanwhile, those traveling today are expressing their frustrations with Congress.
And it's a blame game. It's unfortunate it's just a blame game.
Yeah.
They can't do what they're elected to do, and that's to do the job for us.
And as lawmakers are meeting in the Capitol today, the hope is that a spending bill will be passed sooner rather than later. Travelers, meanwhile, tell us that they will do their best to plan ahead no matter the circumstance. For now, reporting at Orlando International Airport, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thank you. Some government programs will be running during the shutdown. This includes Social Security, SNAP benefits, and the Postal Service. The country's 2 million active duty military members will also stay on the job.
All right, let's take you outside for a live look. This is our camera out at Daytona Beach, and check out the rough surf we're seeing. This is all because of Imelda.
Today may be the driest day of the week, but that rain is returning. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas joins us now with everything we need to know. Jonathan?
Yeah, and I think the theme over the next couple of days as we get into this unsettled stretch through the weekend is going to be the closer to the coast you are, the more rain you're going to see. The further west you are, not completely bone dry, but you're going to see the less of the amounts over the next couple of days. So there are the storms. Umberto no longer considered tropical. That's why it's an L. Hurricane Imelda continues to strengthen as it goes to Bermuda. The entire Atlantic, it is very, very bumpy. It's going to take quite some time. Plus, we have an additional storm system coming through to help kind of reinforce the wave heights. But just look how expansive that yellow color represents wave heights of 10 feet. And you see how expansive that is. Right along our shores today, again, 7 to 8 foot waves being reported, again, along our coast. We're going to keep it like that for the next couple of days. You mentioned it earlier. We are on the drier side. We still have a couple of downpours hanging out to sea. Most of us will be dry through the evening. The one spot that I'm watching for a few flare-up thunderstorms today with the heating of the day, closer to Lakeland and I-75. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. We'll break down future radar to show you that wetter day coming our way tomorrow, coming up at about 4:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Jane Goodall, the conservationist renowned for her groundbreaking chimpanzee field research and globe-spanning environmental advocacy, has died. While living among the chimpanzees in Africa decades ago, Goodall documented the animals using tools and doing other activities previously believed to be exclusive to people. She's also noted their distinct personalities. Her observations, magazine, and documentary in the 1960s transformed how the world perceived not only humans' closest living biological relatives, but also the emotional and social complexity of all animals. According to her institute, she passed away due to natural causes. Jane Goodall was 91 years old.
A highly anticipated city council meeting could start the process of potentially removing a Palm Bay city leader. We told you yesterday how this councilman is back in the hot seat over what he has been saying on social media. Your Palm Bay community correspondent James Sparvero has a new response from the councilman to those calling for him to resign.
The city councilman who said that Indians don't care about America, are destroying the South, and should all be deported is responding to the councilman who wants him to step down. Chandler Langevin declined to talk to me about his comments, but he wrote on X, where his comments originated, "I will not apologize, I will not resign, I will not be removed from office."
And so, no, I'm not going to apologize.
Councilman Langevin was also unapologetic in February after he said the political ideology of Islam doesn't belong in the United States.
There's nothing wrong with that, with saying that.
And just 2 weeks ago, when he called an event in memory of Charlie Kirk that he organized, a march against, quote, left-wing evil.
How do you react to the criticism against the name of the event?
They're wrong. Enough's enough.
Tuesday, I talked to Councilman Kenny Johnson right after he added this to Thursday night's council agenda. If Langevin won't step down on his own, a majority of council members can vote to ask Governor DeSantis to remove him.
I pray that he does have a change of heart, but if he doesn't, then I'm looking to move forward as such.
Yeah, I got mailed it too.
2 years ago, another Palm Bay councilman was asked to step down, and he did.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Pete Filiberto got a DUI after police said officers found cocaine in his socks. This year, though, Filiberto's back in government.
Madam Chair, just one question.
Deputy Mayor Mike Jaffe put him on the Planning and Zoning Board, which reviews development plans. Tuesday night, Mayor Rob Medina tried holding an emergency meeting about Langevin's comments,
which have caused so much pain.
But only 2 of 5 council members were there, so they didn't have a quorum, and therefore, people who came to speak weren't broadcast. For those coming back Thursday night, the regular council meeting will take up the proposal to call for Langevin's suspension. Our coverage will continue then. In Brevard County, I'm your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero. News 6.
New tariffs on many prescription drugs are taking effect today. Those import taxes on branded and patented drugs are set at 100%, but there are exceptions. The tariff will not hit generic drugs, which account for more than 90% of medications in the U.S. Deals with the European Union and Japan, both major sources of pharmaceuticals, cap tariffs on most drugs at 15%. And any company that has broken ground or is in construction on a U.S. manufacturing facility is exempt, and that includes Pfizer.
Today, the mayor of Eatonville is celebrating a deal that will eventually put the historic Hungerford property in the town's control. This is a story I've been following for weeks now. The 117-acre site was once home to a school for black students dating back to the 1890s. Now, it could soon see new development, including a learning center and a healthcare facility. Last night, Orange County School Board voted to sell the property to a well-known charity. Dr. Phillips Charities will pay $1 million up front and eventually hand the property over to the town of Eatonville. The deal has sparked a lot of controversy. Some town members say that they were left out of the process. But the mayor, Angie Gardner, says the agreement is a milestone for the community.
This is a celebration for the town. This is a great opportunity that we'll have to finally see things happen, finally see our economics shift in this town. And Dr. Phillips Charities is the best option for that to happen.
Some critics fear the development could strip Eatonville of its cultural identity, but supporters say it will help secure the town's legacy. A public meeting is scheduled for Friday for the community to learn more about the agreement and the next steps.
During a time when everything seems to be going up in price and people are trying to save any way they can, a discount airline is facing financial troubles.
Fewer options you will see at Orlando International Airport. That's coming up.
A major road in Lake County is causing some major headaches. What people are saying about the traffic issues here on Heartwood Marsh.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod. I came out here to speak to people about the traffic issues here along Heartwood Marsh Road. One woman I spoke to told me she avoids using this road altogether if she can. Now, the county does have plans to widen a portion of Heartwood Marsh, but people are wondering, when is that project going to begin?
They need to do something. I don't know how it will impact everybody, but the widening should be done.
Beth Dobbs lives in Kings Ridge off of Heartwood Marsh Road. She says most of the time it's bumper to bumper. So how much of an inconvenience is that traffic for you when you're just trying to run your day-to-day errands?
It's big time. It's big time. And I try to avoid it at all possibilities.
The county says the Heartwood Marsh widening project from Highway 27 to Regency Hills Drive was originally designed in the 2000s. In 2025, the county completed a redesign, but cannot begin construction until grant funding becomes available in 2027. But during the county's recent commission meeting, Commissioner Sean Park suggested the county take out a loan and repay it in combination with impact fees and as grant funding becomes available to potentially get the project started by summer 2026.
Let's build the road. And if we need to do a short-term loan, that will last within that would be paid out within 2 to 3 years. Or in 2 to 3 years, when we get the money from DOT, I think we could do that.
So we're held hostage if there's traffic. There's no way to get out of your community.
We caught up with Vincent Nemec, who lives off of Heartwood Marsh. He also spoke at the recent county commission meeting and has been pushing for commissioners to get started on the project.
It's very important, to enjoy my retirement and not to be just a prisoner within my own community.
Nemec is also concerned about safety along Heartwood Marsh.
It is a safety concern. It's a safety concern to our police department on the response time. It's a safety concern on our EMS, ambulances, and our fire department for response time. 1 minute can mean a matter of life and death. And that's why, to me, it's very important about getting this expanded.
The County Commission does have plans to discuss Heartwood Marsh Road at its next meeting on October 14th. I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Okay, turning now to our forecast. Lisa and I have different opinions of what feels nice outside. She said she was freezing in the building, so I was like, step outside. You will warm up quickly.
No,
like,
I didn't warm up quickly, though, because it feels nice outside.
I still think it's a little warm.
I'm going to agree with Ginger on this one. I think it's a little warm. I mean, certainly what we call temperature gradient between the super cold air inside of this building and the very warm air outside.
Is what, 70 degrees, you would say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like
difference?
30 below in here. Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that's the common thing around Central Florida for sure. The AC blasting, of course, is we still have the humidity cranked up. That's a live look outside downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. Just a couple of puffy clouds bubbling up. You can keep up with that forecast downloading the free News 6 weather app. You'll need it tomorrow again, as we're going to be doing a lot of dodging in the thunderstorm department, at least in the downpour department tomorrow, as we keep the breeze out of the east. Right now, it's out of the northeast at about 10 miles an hour. Gradually tomorrow, though, we're going to shift to see these arrows here, out of the white arrows. That's the wind direction. They're more out of the northeast. They're going to start to bend a little bit out of the east, and that's going to start to pump in some of that extra Atlantic tropical moisture. Right now, we have the breeze cranked up to about 15, 20 miles an hour towards the I-4 corridor, more like 15 to 20 miles an hour right along the coast. So certainly backing off a little bit. That is likely, though, going to increase starting tomorrow again and then really through your weekend. There is Imelda that is heading towards Bermuda. That's a Category 2 hurricane right now as it continues to lift away. We were talking about this yesterday. All the orange on your screen here, that's the drier air that these storms are pulling into Central Florida. It's one of the reasons why we've been on the drier side today. That is going to change, though, tomorrow again as we kind of shift the wind direction more due east. Now, for the rest of tonight, we're talking about this earlier, right along I-75, maybe down to Lakeland to the west of the Florida Turnpike. With the heating of the day today, because we were on the drier side, might be able to pop a couple of downpours. And watch what happens tomorrow. So here's 6 o'clock in the morning. Already a couple of downpours trying to push on shore again. That's all because the breeze shifting out of the east, and we're going to keep it that way. That's 11 o'clock on your Thursday. Tomorrow afternoon, you see more of those downpours sliding through, and then that's 5 to 6 o'clock into the evening, more of the same. I think this really starts an active period, really starting tomorrow and going through likely Monday with the highest opportunity for the heaviest rain right along the coast. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Rain chances tomorrow up to 50%. Again, the highest opportunity going to be along into the east of I-4, then right up and down the Atlantic beaches. We're at 86 in Wildwood, 83 degrees in Palm Coast tomorrow afternoon. Here's the deal. A couple of things working in tandem. Big chunk of high pressure building over New England. That's going to slide down and off the mid-Atlantic coastline. We're also going to have a boundary start to develop over the next couple of days. And the two of those, we were just talking about the pressure gradient. That's exactly what's going to happen here. And that's going to keep the wind strong off of the Atlantic, pumping in these rounds of rain starting tomorrow, and then really picking up Friday, Saturday, into the rest of your weekend as well, because we have this stationary boundary just hanging out in South Florida, and that's something that's going to continue and really try to focus on the coast, especially over the next couple of days. So you see the rain chances going up with that 60% chance for storms on Friday. That unfortunately goes right on into your weekend. Again, minor flooding is going to be possible right along the coast. That's where we're going to focus the heaviest rainfall amounts. I'll show you more on that front coming up at 4:47.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Spirit Airlines is cutting service to nearly a dozen cities.
The impacts we could see here in Central Florida and what this means for your upcoming vacation. That's next. A live look now at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
A heads up now, starting tomorrow, Spirit Airlines is set to end service to nearly a dozen cities.
Right now, the bankrupt low-cost carrier is fighting for survival. Spirit will drop service to cities in the west and the south, including Albuquerque, Birmingham, Chattanooga, Portland, Salt Lake City, and San Diego. The Florida-based airline also plans to furlough a third of its flight attendants and cut pay for pilots. Spirit has struggled post-pandemic after a failed merger with JetBlue.
Spirit is the incredible shrinking airline right now. And unless There are other low-cost airlines that compete with Spirit on these routes. Consumers should expect to pay more.
Even though the list of cities does not include Central Florida, it does mean fewer options for travelers out of Orlando International Airport. We spoke with Spirit customers who say the airline's low fares make a big difference.
It's sad because I think it's very convenient, especially when you're on a budget, and then you can do other things with that money. So I think it's very sad. We like Spirit.
In an email to employees, Spirit's chief commercial officer called these cuts, quote, necessary changes to best position the airline for the future. Late yesterday, the company announced it had secured hundreds of millions of dollars in what it called significant progress in its bankruptcy restructuring.
Changes are coming to downtown Kissimmee.
The new restrictions businesses will have to follow. That's next.
A staple in Seminole County is closing its doors. After decades in business, Post Time Lounge and Cafe is getting ready to say goodbye.
Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
There are questions at Orlando International Airport expected as the government shutdown is in its first full day. TSA agents and air traffic controllers will work without pay as essential employees, but things could get complicated if the shutdown continues. Back in 2018, during a 34-day shutdown, 10% of TSA workers called in sick, driving up screening times. In Brevard County, council members in Palm Bay are hoping one of their own will walk back comments made about Indian Americans. On social media, Councilman Chandler Langevin said he will not apologize and will not resign. He made comments saying Indians in America don't care about the United States. Council members hope he has a change of heart, but are prepared to take the next steps if not. They'll meet tomorrow night. And in Lake County, safety concerns as people wait for a road widening project to begin. The project is set to happen on Heartwood Marsh Road between Highway 27 and Regency Hills Drive. People in the area avoid the road altogether because of the dangers. The project is set to be discussed at the next commission meeting on October 14th.
Another teacher at Satellite High School could have her license suspended. It's for the same reason that a different teacher's contract there was not renewed earlier this year. She's accused of using a student's preferred name without parental consent. News 6's Angie Casada has the story.
A lot of students telling us they're not happy Satellite High science teacher Carrie Clapper could lose her teaching certificate over the allegation. It's the same issue that cost another teacher at the school her job just months ago. According to the Department of Education, Carrie Clapper repeatedly called a female student by a name other than her legal name without written parental permission. That violates a 2023 state rule, which the DOE says is grounds to sanction her teaching license.
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that this continues to be an issue. And I think all the students at the school are, upset with it. I hope there's more, national, recognition of the injustice that's going on here, because it really is ridiculous.
Students at Satellite High tell News 6 they don't believe Clapper should face punishment.
The thing is, it's kind of scary that one person has the power, supposedly one person who's reporting our teachers has the power to basically upend our educational careers by removing or staining the name of teachers who we get to work with and have the pleasure of working with.
This is not the first time this school has faced this issue. Earlier this year, former teacher Melissa Calhoun admitted to using a student's chosen name without parental consent. She ultimately lost her job in Brevard County, though the state did allow her to keep her license on probation. Now, Clapper has requested a formal hearing on her case. The state says it's committed to upholding the law, while students say they're frustrated their school is once again in the spotlight. And Brevard Public Schools stresses this is a state investigation, not a district one. Of course, we'll keep following what happens next in Clapper's case. In studio, Angie Casada, News 6.
Also happening in Satellite Beach, we are working to learn more about the sudden retirement of Police Chief Jeff Pearson. He has served as chief since 2011. In a Facebook post, the police department congratulated Pearson on his retirement. The post says Pearson's retirement goes into effect on October 31st. The chief is on leave until then to, quote, allow for a smooth transition. We have reached out to Chief Pearson. The department and city officials will keep you updated as we work to learn more about who will now be in charge.
The start of October is bringing a water rate increase for Toho customers. Rates for water, waste, water, and irrigation are going up 7.5% starting today and every October 1st through 2028. After that, there will be a 4% jump from 2029 to 2030. Reclaimed water rates will gradually increase from 75% to 90% by October of 2027. It's all an investment in Toho's infrastructure. The fees will support projects planned to enhance safety and strengthen the system. That's all according to officials.
Businesses in downtown Kissimmee now have strict new rules if they want to serve alcohol even later. They now need a special permit for late night sales. Your Kissimmee community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez explains the reason behind the change.
The City Commission felt it was necessary to keep the downtown area safe after recent shootings after midnight.
The change is officially in place just months after the City Commission unanimously approved creating a permit for businesses that want to sell alcohol past midnight. It's a move some bar owners felt would drive business to other areas.
And if we do this, Kissimmee is a destination, they'll just leave. That's what they'll do.
The permit costs $250 and gives the chief of police the ability to suspend a bar's permit if there is an incident or safety concern.
No le veo lo negativo, al contrario, se ve bien positivo.
Angel Ayala has lived in Kissimmee for 15 years and tells me he doesn't see any negatives to the permit.
Sería conveniente porque tienes un poco más de control.
He feels it will make the city safer. Others, like Luis Vigil, agree and think last call should be even earlier. What time do you think they should stop selling alcohol in downtown Kissimmee?
Stop selling around 10 p.m. That's, the correct time.
This isn't the only change downtown bars have had to adapt to recently. Last month, the City Commission changed its noise ordinance requiring businesses in the downtown area to lower their music volumes. I'm your Kissimmee community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Kissimmee is not the first local city to place new restrictions in response to recent crime. Winter Garden and downtown Orlando also have after midnight ordinances that require businesses to have special permits.
Well, if you've driven down 1792 in Seminole County, you have probably gone past Post Time Lounge. It has been a staple in Longwood longer than most people can even remember. But the iconic restaurant and entertainment venue known for its live music is closing its doors. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver takes us there.
It's 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. The doors just opened at Post Time Lounge in Longwood, ready for regulars.
I've been here at least 20 years, maybe more.
For decades, these four walls have hosted crowds on the dance floor.
I've come for the live bands, the delicious food.
Strangers who have become friends at tables.
Just a lot of great food, great times.
It's one of Central Florida's oldest neighborhood watering holes.
It started out as a place to come after the races. Dog track was up here.
A lot of my favorite memories, I'm sitting by the fire pit. Halloween parties are always a blast.
People go to Post Time for a good time. But now it's time to say goodbye.
When did you find out that they would be closing their doors soon?
I just found out last night. Yeah, when I came for karaoke, actually. So I just found out, they told me, and I was just heartbroken.
The phones just started ringing off the hook. Like people were in disbelief and a shock.
Brian Leone, who goes by the name Red, says it's been a difficult year.
We lost the owner in the beginning of this year, Mike, and things started kind of going all over the place.
He started working with Post Time as a promoter and even brought CeeLo Green to perform last year.
It has been a staple here.
It's definitely an historical venue at this point, It's known for its Fridays and Saturday nights with the live bands.
The owner, Mike Penner, was amazing at keeping his finger on the pulse.
Orlando Silva started working at Post Time as a karaoke host.
This has been a big part of so many people's lives. Either you've worked here or you've come to enjoy the food and the entertainment.
Dozens of people have shared similar thoughts on this Facebook post from the general manager, who announced this week Post Time will be closing November 2nd.
I found out I was going to be a grandmother here, like 3 years ago.
We consider the staff to be friends, and it was sad. Everybody here is like family.
People we met Wednesday told us they're just thankful for the music and the memories. In Seminole County,
I just hate to see it go.
Catherine Silver, News 6.
In Results 2025, the race is now set for a special election to fill an open seat in the Florida Senate. Former state representative Dr. Ralph Masulo took home a big win in the Republican primary yesterday for the District 11 seat, easily beating rancher and military veteran Anthony Bryce. Masulo will now take on Democrat Ash Marwah in November. The district covers all of Sumter County, along with Citrus, Hernando, and part of Pasco counties. Republican Blaise Ingoglia represented the area, but he left when he was appointed chief financial officer for the state. Meantime, the American Civil Liberties Union of Florida has filed a lawsuit to force the governor to call a special election for another seat. That election would be to replace former state senator, now Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. The union says the governor has violated state law by not calling the election more than 7 weeks since Collins was appointed to lieutenant governor.
What matters is that people have the representation that they elect. So regardless of what party wins the special election, the people, everyone in the state, every citizen in the state has the right to a senator and a representative in the legislature.
There are currently 2 vacant seats in the Florida Senate and 3 in the Florida House.
Flagler County has a new option for parents in crisis. A safe haven baby box is now available at Fire Station 25 in Palm Coast. That's on Belterre Parkway near Royal Palms Parkway. It was dedicated and blessed yesterday with city council members, the fire department, and community partners all in attendance. Now, there are nearly 400 baby boxes nationwide. 10 of them are here in Florida. Marion County Fire Rescue is home to 2 of them. The newest one was just installed on Monday. It's at Northeast 180th Lane in Citra. And 2 years ago, a newborn was left in the baby box on Southwest 6th Avenue in Ocala. That baby was adopted by one of the firefighters who found her.
There is a new mission to find the aircraft of legendary aviator Amelia Earhart and solve a nearly 90-year mystery. Amelia Earhart and a navigator were trying to fly around the world when her plane disappeared in the South Pacific in 1937. An expedition team will set out next month. They're looking to find out if an object seen in the lagoon of a small island is her plane. It was found halfway between Hawaii and Australia.
We gathered up many more satellite images, did historical research, found other imagery that relates to it. We're going to go look and identify it. And if we're right, then we will, in fact, identify the lost Electra. We could be wrong, but I think the evidence is very, very strong that this is, in fact, what it is.
Earhart was the first woman to pilot a solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. Last week, President Trump said he is ordering all government records about her to be declassified and publicly released.
Now to an incredible find along the Treasure Coast.
A crew found an actual treasure there from a 300-year-old shipwreck. What they plan to do with it coming up.
Plus, Matt is showing us how you can eat like a tourist in this week's I-4 food tour. That's next.
Still a little breezy today. I think the winds pick up a little bit more tomorrow, except more out of the east, and that is going to increase rain chances. We're going to time out those rain chances for heading to work or school tomorrow, coming up at about 4:47.
And before we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions at 9:30. And watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
come to a resort and eat like you're a tourist. That's how we do this thing. This is the perfect Orlando hack. Now, a hack locals have figured out is go to the tourist places because they're really upping their food game. I'm here at the Caribe Royale, and today we're trying an Italian steakhouse.
But first, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Giant Recreation World. Thanks for the RVs we use to highlight Central Florida's food scene.
I am here with Chef Dave, the executive chef of this whole beautiful resort. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
I understand you've got some steaks around here that can knock my socks off.
We do got some great steaks, but we do a lot of other great products as well, and those are the stuff we're going to show you today.
All right, so give me a rundown of what we're having today, Chef.
All right, we're going to have the seared scallops with our soft polenta and porcini cream sauce, our beautiful seared Chilean sea bass with the Nesca style. We're doing our braised bison short rib, and we're finishing up with our signature lobster biscuit.
All right, I'm excited. This bison's calling my name. This is the chef's favorite. He told me I only need a butter knife. Let's see if he is being honest with me. Oh, I don't even need the butter knife. All you need is the fork. That's crazy. Oh, look at that. Come on now. This is a natural au jus. I'm gonna dip it in. Okay, look at that. Bison is highly underrated. This is so good. All right, it's a local hack. It's what you should do when you're in Orlando. Eat like a tourist. The Venetian Chop House, so good.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World. Visit Giant Recreation World today.
It does look good, but sadly, we're just going to have to sit here and be a little hungry for a
Just
minute.
imagine what it might taste like.
It might be nice to go out, though, and have dinner
Yeah.
outside tonight, maybe, Jonathan?
I think for the most part, we're going to be looking pretty good. We do have a couple of stray downpours out there, but a much quieter, much drier night. These are the ones we were talking about earlier that since we were on the drier side today, might pop a couple of downpours to the west of Orlando, closer to I-75. We do have a few on the west side of Apopka, closer to Zellwood, closer on the north side of Lake Apopka this evening, also around Oakland, Winter Garden, Ocoee. We have a couple of downpours that are popping up. Otherwise, we're dry along the coast, watching those few downpours out into the Atlantic, and then there are the actual thunderstorms that might try to get going over the next few hours. Those should stay closer to the Gulf tonight. Here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
Rain chance is going to start to creep back up again. I think early tomorrow morning we could even see some downpours slide through as we're going to switch our wind direction back off the Atlantic completely. Those rain chances now 50% tomorrow. We're at 85 in Orlando, Holopog. Good evening. Tomorrow we'll top out at 84. We're at 83 in Bunnell, Groveland. We are at 85 degrees as well. Let me show you the future radar. And this is exactly what we're talking about. 9 o'clock, there was that band I just showed you on the radar. It might try to push through to give us a few stray downpours late into the evening. The bigger deal tomorrow, at least a more widespread deal, that's going to be 8 o'clock in the morning on your Thursday tomorrow. And you see the scattered downpours already there. So a commute into work or school tomorrow, maybe a little dicey in terms of the downpours that'll be out there, especially along into the east of I-4 and closer to the coast. So that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A few of those scattered downpours do push their way west of Orlando, closer to Lake and Sumter counties. I think most of the deal, at least most of the widespread rain, over the next several days is going to try to focus on the eastern half of the Florida Peninsula. That's 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and things are looking on the drier side, but we'll revamp and get it all done again on Friday. That's a live look outside in Daytona Beach with our Daytona Beach Skycam. Temperatures back into the lower 80s. The breeze right now out of the north-northeast. Again, tomorrow that's going to be more out of the east, helping to pump in some of that extra moisture to get those downpours going. Also at the beaches, again, we're talking about the high surf advisory remaining in effect for the next couple of days due to the fact that we are going to keep that stiff onshore flow. This is 8 o'clock on your Wednesday night, so in the next couple of hours. We still have wave heights at about 6 to 7 feet. Offshore, more like 9 to 10. And over the next couple of days, we're actually going to increase them again because of that extra breeze that's coming through. So we saw on Thursday and Friday back to that 8 to 10 foot mark. Still, as we get ready to start the weekend, wave height's going to be about 8 to 10 feet as well. That high surf advisory remains in play through Saturday morning. Wind gusts tomorrow, you're going to notice it again. This is as we're cranking things back up again out of the east because another system to our south. We're back into the upper 20 miles per hour wind gusts on Thursday tomorrow, and we're going to keep things breezy at least through the start of the weekend. Certainly not as breezy next week as we get back to that 15 mile per hour mark, but nonetheless, a little bit backing off a little bit getting into next week. There's Imelda, Category 2 hurricane, could make a landfall in Bermuda, which is kind of rare with how small the island of Bermuda is. But we'll be watching that for them. Again, the reason why we're on the drier side today is from that drier air on the backside of Imelda. 60% shot for storms on Friday. We'll keep that higher rain chance rolling right on through your weekend. Temperatures back to the middle 80s getting into next week, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now and click that link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos, and they could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way.
Well, it's something you'd see in a movie. This time, though, it happened in real life.
How this crew found more than $1 million worth of silver and gold coins from a 300-year-old shipwreck. That's next. As we take a live look at Mount Dora, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, a new push to combat the mental health crisis,
where nearly a dozen groups are coming together for a very special event and sending a visual message as well.
Plus your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
A treasure worth more than $1 million was found on a 300-year-old shipwreck.
Yeah, it sounds like something that a movie would be centered on, but this really happened during the 2025 summer salvage season. A historic shipwreck operation recovered more than $1 million worth of silver and gold coins in the Vero Beach area. Now, the crew found the coins in the remains of the Treasure Fleet shipwreck. It sank in 1715 while carrying an estimated $400 million worth of gold, silver, and jewels from the New World back to Spain.
The best way I could describe it is as if when you lose something that you really, really like, and you've almost come to terms with it just never being found again, and then all of a sudden it shows up. It's just such an awesome feeling.
That's exactly who I expect to find that kind of thing. All right, the coins were minted in the Spanish colonies of Mexico, Peru, and Bolivia. Many still have visible dates and mint marks engraved on their surface. Plans are underway for select pieces to be exhibited at local museums. But first, the coins will undergo a careful conservation process.
Do the people who found them get to keep them? Any of them?
I don't think they do. Oh, somebody just said they do, but it's our director, Joe. I don't trust him, so the answer is still no. News 6 at 5.
We know Joe would keep one if he found that in the water.
It's called stealing.
Right? Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
It's very complicated who gets to keep what in a shipwreck. I know that. Well, a holiday tradition name change ended up becoming a surprisingly large controversy in one community, and a number of people behind it are stepping down. We're trying to get answers as to why. And two of the people critical to radio hits in the 90s and 2000s are getting back into the action right here in Central Florida. The hits you already know from them and how they're looking toward the future. Your forecast is just minutes away. We'll be right back.
Now at 5, I will not apologize. That's the message from a city leader amid a call for him to resign, his controversial comments, and where the efforts to remove him stand. A shutdown on Capitol Hill remains tonight. What Orlando International Airport is saying about operations on the runway.
They started in this room where I'm sitting.
The iconic music label behind the biggest boy bands is getting back into business and calling Central Florida home. You're watching News 6 at 5.
Breaking right now, westbound 434 is closed in Longwood. Hundreds of homes are without power after officials say a dump truck hit a power line. This all happened at State Road 434 and Prestview Avenue. These are some pictures from the scene. Traffic currently being rerouted as Duke Energy makes repairs. According to Duke Energy's website, about 360 customers are currently without power. When we learn more, we'll bring it to you both right here and online. Well, a highly anticipated city council meeting coming up in just about 24 hours could start the process of potentially removing a member of the council.
We told you yesterday how Councilman Chandler Langevin in Palm Bay is back on the hot seat over what he's been saying on social media about minority groups. Palm Bay community correspondent James Sparvero has a new response from the embattled councilman to those calling for him to resign.
The city councilman who said that Indians don't care about America, are destroying the South, and should all be deported, is responding to the councilman who wants him to step down. Chandler Langevin declined to talk to me about his comments, but he wrote on X, where his comments originated, "I will not apologize, I will not resign, I will not be removed from office."
And so, no, I'm not going to apologize.
Councilman Langevin was also unapologetic in February after he said the political ideology of Islam doesn't belong in the United States.
There's nothing wrong with that, with saying that.
And just 2 weeks ago, when he called an event in memory of Charlie Kirk that he organized, a march against, quote, left-wing evil.
How do you react to the criticism against the name of the event?
They're wrong.
Enough's enough. Tuesday, I talked to Councilman Kenny Johnson right after he added this to Thursday night's council agenda. If Langevin won't step down on his own, a majority of council members can vote to ask Governor DeSantis to remove him.
I pray that he does have a change of heart, but if he doesn't, then I'm looking to move forward as such.
Yeah, I got mailed it to.
2 years ago, another Palm Bay councilman was asked to step down, and he did.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Pete Filiberto got a DUI after police said officers found cocaine in his socks. This year, though, Filiberto's back in government.
Madam Chair, just one question.
Deputy Mayor Mike Jaffe put him on the Planning and Zoning Board, which reviews development plans. Tuesday night, Mayor Rob Medina tried holding an emergency meeting about Langevin's comments,
which have caused so much pain.
But only 2 of 5 council members were there, so they didn't have a quorum, and therefore, people who came to speak weren't broadcast. For those coming back Thursday night, the regular council meeting will take up the proposal to call for Langevin's suspension. Our coverage will continue then. In Brevard County, I'm your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Hurricanes Imelda and Umberto are well in our rearview mirror tonight, but we are still seeing rough conditions off our coast.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. Jonathan, are these rough waters still from the storms, or is something else playing a factor?
Right now, they're still from the storms, and I think the next couple of days, they're going to have their influence in it, but we're going to kind of switch out the weather pattern, and that's also going to help to keep the surf cranked up over the next couple of days. High surf advisory still in play through Saturday morning. That's because we're talking breaking waves at about 6 to 10 feet, again, continuing through at least the start of the weekend. That may need to be extended as well. You see the expansive footprint. We're looking at the wave heights now, certainly closer to the storms. We're talking 20, 25-foot waves, but still off our coast right now. We're in that 6 to 8 foot ballpark, certainly a little further to the east, closer to where boats would be. That's where we're talking about 10 to 15-foot waves, and that will also continue for the next couple of days and likely through the weekend as well. We are pinpointing a couple of itty-bitty downpours out there. They will not last long. The air is very dry in the mid-levels of our atmosphere. We're tracking those, and we're looking ahead to your weekend coming up at about 5:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, after what has turned out to be a controversial name change, adding the word Christmas to an annual holiday tradition in Winter Park, Much of the group that made that change has now stepped down.
The city used to call it Holiday on Park, but this year a private group took over and renamed it Christmas on Park. Your Winter Park community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, first reported the name change and is following up tonight with the group behind it.
In just a few weeks, Park Avenue in Winter Park will transform from this to this, with hundreds of lights and Santa moving right into Central Park. This year, the celebration will be called Christmas on Park, not just Holiday on Park. The city of Winter Park used to be responsible for the lighting displays until last year, when a group called Park Avenue District stepped in and took over the display and the name. The name change from Holiday to Christmas has led to controversy among leaders in the city. But Alan Chambers, the president of the Park Avenue District, says it was just a misunderstanding.
The city already has a menorah. They already have a Kinara for Kwanzaa. So we took over the Christmas decoration. So our proposal was called Christmas on Park, just to simply refresh the Christmas decor. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion came in, was that we were trying to make it all Christmas and not anything else, and that's not true.
On Monday, the executive director and 3 board members from the Park Avenue District all stepped down in the midst of this controversy. Yet Chambers insists that the name change was not part of the reason.
You know, we've had a recent change in the Park Avenue District with some leadership, board members who have left, not over the controversy, but because it's hard to be a small business owner and serve on a board.
Lisa Ward, who's a local resident, says it doesn't matter what the celebration is called.
So I'm a Christian, and I don't really care, because I think that Jesus wouldn't care what we call it. So whatever they want to call it, it's great to celebrate.
And for Jay Lee, another resident, he says the lights matter more than the name.
I think lights are lights, and if people want to enjoy it, then you just enjoy it. You know, I don't think there's really a big issue with that, what they're called, or whether people want to see it or not. So, yeah.
The celebration often includes the local businesses that line Park Avenue. Tracy Klinger is the owner of Frank and just wants people to come out and enjoy.
We have a lot of businesses here that are really interested in making it a great experience for people to come visit. I would say actually probably all of the businesses here feel that way. So please don't worry about what it's called. Just come join us.
Chambers does tell me that the lights are expected to turn on November 13th as scheduled. In Winter Park, your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
As millions of Americans head home from work tonight, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are heading home for the day without a paycheck for now. With Congress failing to pass a short-term funding bill, about 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed in the first shutdown since 2018. The Trump administration is also threatening mass firings as government offices are shuttered. Republicans want to extend funding at current levels, but Democrats are holding out for concessions on health care, including extensions of Affordable Care Act subsidies and reversals of cuts to Medicaid. Government workers deemed essential, like air traffic controllers, the TSA, military personnel, and postal workers, will stay on the job but are required to work without pay. They will get back pay once the shutdown ends. Social Security, VA, and other benefits will continue, but there could be a delay in services like processing applications. People receiving benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children will likely be impacted first, followed by those in the SNAP program.
New tariffs from the White House take effect today on pharmaceutical drugs to the tune of 100%. Those import taxes on branded and patented drugs come with exceptions that may give companies a workaround. As CBS Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady shows us, the president is also offering Americans a new way to buy drugs at a discount.
So the pharma industry warns it could mean higher prices for Americans, but analysts that we've spoken to suggest the impact won't be that large for 3 reasons. First, the tariff won't hit generic drugs, which account for more than 90% of medications in the U.S. Additionally, deals with the European Union and Japan, of course, both major sources of pharmaceuticals, that caps tariffs on most drugs at 15%. Finally, any company that has broken ground or is in construction at a U.S. manufacturing facility is exempt. Now, one company doing just that is Pfizer. President Trump announced the drug maker will invest $70 billion in American manufacturing and research facilities. In exchange, it avoids those pharma tariffs for 3 years. As part of the deal, Pfizer will also sell its drugs to Medicaid patients for the lowest price available in other developed nations. Now, the White House also announced Trump RX. That's a direct-to-consumer website where Americans can get medicines at a discount beginning early next year. Pfizer is the first partner and says says it will sell many of its drugs at a 50% savings on that site. Now, industry critics argue most Americans won't reap the benefits. Why? Most patients obtain drugs through insurance providers. With Trump Rx, it appears that consumers will need to pay out of pocket. Regardless, consumer advocacy groups call this a win for patients when U.S. drug prices are nearly 3 times more than other countries. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.
The era of the boy band came and went, but now it may be making a comeback.
Yay.
Or, right? At least those who helped them reach superstardom are making a comeback. Next at 5, the 2 music executives restarting an iconic music label right here in Central Florida.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
Backstreet's not back, but it looks like their record label is.
So Transcontinental Records, which kicked off that boy band craze right here in Central Florida with one of their first performances, by the way, right here at News 6, is giving it another go.
News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden has the story. Ginger.
All right, Matt, Lisa, I spoke to the 2 producers who are taking up the label name and are looking to make music history yet again in a story you will see only on News 6. The Backstreet Boys' first ever TV performance was right here in our own Studio B. Back then, AJ, Nick, Howie, Brian, and Kevin were just kids with big dreams. Tell Me That I'm Dreaming was later released on a 4-song CD 30 years ago last month.
And it sold 15 million copies.
This right here with the 4 songs on it.
The original.
Tim Coons was the original music producer for the Backstreet Boys. He recently caught their show Into the Millennium at the Sphere in Las Vegas. I want it that way.
the whole crowd is singing the songs after the show. And I was like, what? You know, this is amazing to see how popular they still are after almost 33 years. They started in this room where I'm sitting.
Transcontinental Records, or Transcon as many knew it, helped launch the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and other chart toppers in the 90s and early 2000s.
I remember when the first time I ever heard Quit Playing Games With My Heart. I almost knew, like, this is something different. Like, I've never heard this before.
But they know they can't ignore the dark side under founder Lou Pearlman.
I want the spotlight to be on the artists, and they want to separate the Transcontinental Records from the Airlines scandal and the investment scheme and stuff that they honestly were victims of themselves.
And this isn't just about reviving a brand.
Now it's really about looking forward and hoping that we can bring out the next crop and kind of give Orlando its music pop back, pun intended. You know, that would be a real opportunity and a real blessing.
A blessing indeed, and I know people are interested, and if you're interested in being a part of the next crop at Transcon, they're holding in-person auditions this Saturday. It's going to happen near Full Sail University. You do need to register in advance to let them know you're coming. We put the link in the article. It's on the homepage of clickorlando.com, and I could not believe where the studio is located and how intimate it really is.
It looks
and the
like a
things we
storefront
saw,
or something.
oh my, I could reach my arms and touch from side to side in the studio.
Are they literally looking for boy bands, or are talented singers like myself also?
No, they're not.
So they said, don't send Lisa for sure. But just the history in that place, I tell you, Britney Spears is there, Justin Timberlake has been through there, all these different artists who you know and you love from that time period. We're going to have a longer version of that story coming up at 6 o'clock. There's a famous red couch. We'll talk about how many people have sat on that couch and the names you know. It's crazy.
Wow. This was the center of the boy band universe here.
And that's what they want to make it again.
All right, interesting. Ginger Gadsden, thank you very much.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, also a big boy band fan, Jonathan.
I mean, that was the time. The 90s was the era for sure. That's a great, great piece there, Ginger. Can't wait for the longer one coming up at 6 o'clock. We are still at the beaches talking about the rough surf. We're going to see scenes like this all the way through the weekend. That's a live look with Light Orlando delivered. That is not Orlando, of course. We'd have a big, big problem if that was Orlando. This is Daytona Beach right now, of course, with the high surf. The breeze out of the northeast at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's going to be the wind direction that's going to change our forecast up in a big way over the next couple of days. It's been out the northeast for the last 12 to 24 hours. Now it's going to shift to a more easterly component and bring us the extra moisture that we need to get some more downpours generated tomorrow. So that breeze is going to crank up a little bit and also have to get more of those downpours going. Here we go with the hurricane. That is Imelda heading towards Bermuda. Could make a direct landfall. It's really hard for a hurricane to make landfall in Bermuda because the island's only about 15 miles wide. We do have some drier air pouring in. That's one of the reasons why we've been drier today. We talked about this yesterday, that today would likely be the driest day really through the weekend. Because of our weather pattern change, they bring the breeze back off the Atlantic. So here is 7 o'clock. Don't be surprised, though, closer to I-75, Lakeland, and points west, that we see a couple of stray downpours as we move into the latter stages of the evening. It was a little bit warmer for us there. We'll be able to pop a couple of downpours anyway. 6, 7 o'clock as we start our day tomorrow, watching for a few of those downpours again. And you see them meandering. There's 11 o'clock through the lunch hour. Again, don't be caught off guard where we have the earlier start time for these downpours tomorrow when you see them scattered in nature throughout the course of the afternoon. That's 5, 6 o'clock and still hanging around with some light showers, maybe a couple of rogue downpours in the mix as we move into Thursday afternoon to the evening. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
Rain chances back to 50% tomorrow. High temperatures into the middle 80s in Orlando, 84 in Oviedo. And again, you saw kind of that widely scattered nature of those downpours. Highest opportunity for the heaviest rain going to be the eastern half of the Florida Peninsula, not only for tomorrow, but for the next couple of days. And this is the reason why we have a big chunk of high pressure building over New England. It's going to slide back towards the mid-Atlantic. We also have this stationary front developing into South Florida. The two of those are going to channel the wind out of the east, off the Atlantic, and right through the Florida Peninsula. So there's Friday at lunchtime. You see the yellows and greens, again, indicating where we have the heavier downpours. Certainly closer to the Florida coast will be the most widespread, and gotten the heaviest rain, but that pattern is going to stay with us through the weekend. It's also going to help keep the beaches kind of churned up a little bit. So that rough surf that we're dealing with, courtesy of the two hurricanes, or what was the two hurricanes, now Umberto is post-tropical, it's going to stay elevated. The wave height 6 to 10 feet through the weekend. 60% shot for thunderstorms on Friday. We're going to keep those elevated rain chances, especially closer to the coast. Again, the theme is drier the further inland you go, at least the further west of the Atlantic you go, and then wetter the closer to the Atlantic beaches you are. 60% shot for more of those thunderstorms on Sunday, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. After the break, the two hospitals among dozens in the country some experts say are in great danger.
Your Wednesday evening traffic alert. You'll see those lane closures east and westbound along I-4 out by the attractions where we always see them, but you won't see any major shutdowns, just some inconvenience overnight. So make sure you're paying attention. Turnpike, same thing down in Osceola County, some lane closures, and then those lane closures down on I-95 just south of US 192. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
And this is a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope cam. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
A News 6 investigation from CBS News and an organization reporting on national health issues is looking at hospitals in flood zones.
It identified more than 170 buildings facing the risk of flooding, and that includes 2 in Brevard County. We're talking about Cape Canaveral Hospital in Cocoa Beach, which is surrounded on 3 sides by the Banana River, and Sea Pines Rehab Hospital in Melbourne.
As CBS's David Speichter explains, extreme weather is putting them in danger.
Where were the ambulances?
The ambulances were to the left right here at the ER entrance.
A year ago, Unicoi County Hospital was hit with a flood so bad, the community's ambulances were nearly swallowed by water. Emergency manager Jimmy Irwin was on the scene, worried the entire hospital would be swept away.
So the clock was ticking because you thought the building was going to go?
Yeah.
And everybody's on the roof?
Everybody's on the roof.
It took 4 helicopters to airlift everyone to safety. But what's come into focus since is where Unicoi Hospital was built, in a floodplain. And an investigation by our partners at KFF Health News, who analyzed proprietary flooding data from the company Fathom, identified at least 170 other U.S. hospitals facing the greatest risk of potentially dangerous flooding. Each of those hospitals could be shut down by a 100-year flood, the kind of extreme weather that has become more common due to climate change.
I suppose they're all thinking this is never going to happen to them, too.
Hopefully, seeing what happened in Tennessee and what's happened in other areas, maybe it'll make someone start thinking.
This investigation also found that much of the identified hospital flood risk, some seen here in animations from around the country, does not show up on FEMA's official flood maps, in part because those maps are outdated and do not account for climate change.
Huge change in the hydrology.
Andrew Joyner is Tennessee's state climatologist who works with emergency managers to mitigate the impact of climate disasters.
So how do you plan for that?
It's difficult. I mean, I think right now, the planning is hoping that something doesn't happen.
And when it comes to planning for the worst impacts of climate change on America's hospitals, Jimmy Irwin has learned that hope may not be the best strategy.
People go to the hospitals for help, not to be caught in a situation where no one can help them.
David Schechter, CBS News.
And we should note that Cape Canaveral Hospital, which we told you earlier was named in this report, it is moving to a new, larger site on Borman Drive in Merritt Island. It's expected to open in 2027.
Well, with growth in Central Florida comes traffic, and some communities just haven't been able to keep up. After the break, the potential workaround one community is considering as frustrated drivers demand relief.
Plus, if you or someone you know has a flight coming up, the government shutdown could impact your plans eventually.
And later, one community making last call earlier. We'll explain why. Here's a live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We are following several top stories for you right now.
In Brevard County, council members in Palm Bay are hoping one of their own will walk back comments he made about Indian Americans. Councilman Chandler Langevin said he will not apologize or resign after public outcry. He made comments that Indians in America do not care about the United States. Council members are hoping for a change of heart and will meet tomorrow on what could be the next steps.
In Seminole County, westbound 434 is back open this afternoon in Longwood. It was closed after a dump truck hit a power line earlier today, leaving hundreds without power and traffic backed up. It happened at Prestview Avenue. Duke Energy was out making repairs after the scene cleared. Again, the road is back open. We're working to learn if anyone was injured. In Orange County, a controversial name change for a holiday lights display. Park Avenue District took over the display from the city of Winter Park and changed the name from Holiday on Park to Christmas on Park. Some of the board members have stepped down amid the name change controversy. Lights come on November 13th.
More growing pains in Lake County. People who live in neighborhoods along Heartwood Marsh Road have been waiting for the county to begin its road widening project from Highway 27 to Regency Hills Drive. People there are concerned about safety and how future development in the area may impact the traffic. Your Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod spoke with some of the residents about their fears.
We're here in Lake County where we came to speak to people about the traffic issues here along Heartwood Marsh Road. One woman I spoke to told me she avoids using the road altogether if she can. Now, the county does have plans to widen a portion of Heartwood Marsh Road, but people are wondering, when is that project going to begin?
They need to do something. I don't know how it will impact everybody, but the widening should be done.
Beth Dobbs lives in Kings Ridge off of Heartwood Marsh Road. She says most of the time it's bumper to bumper.
So how much of an inconvenience is that traffic for you when you're just trying to run your day-to-day errands?
It's big time. It's big time. And I try to avoid it at all possibilities.
The county says the Heartwood Marsh widening project from Highway 27 to Regency Hills Drive was originally designed in the 2000s. In 2025, the county completed a redesign, but cannot begin construction until grant funding becomes available in 2027. But during the county's recent commission meeting, Commissioner Sean Park suggested the county take out a loan and repay it in combination with impact fees and as grant funding becomes available to potentially get the project started by summer 2026.
Let's build the road. If we need to do a short-term loan, that will last that would be paid out within 2 to 3 years. Or in 2 to 3 years, when we get the money from DOT, I think we could do that.
So we're held hostage if there's traffic. There's no way to get out of your community.
We caught up with Vincent Nemec, who lives off of Heartwood Marsh. He also spoke at the recent county commission meeting and has been pushing for commissioners to get started on the project.
It's very important, to enjoy my retirement and not to be just a prisoner within my own community.
Nemec is also concerned about safety along Heartwood Marsh.
It is a safety concern. It's a safety concern to our police department on the response time. It's a safety concern on our EMS, ambulances, and our fire department for response time. 1 minute can mean a matter of life and death. And that's why, to me, it's very important about getting this expanded.
The County Commission does have plans to discuss Heartwood Marsh Road at its next meeting on October 14th. I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Well, with Congress failing to pass a short-term funding bill, about 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed in the first government shutdown since 2018. The Trump administration is also threatening mass firings as government offices are shuttered. We're taking a live look at downtown Orlando. This is actually Orlando International Airport from our Light Orlando City Cam, where the airport could also see some impacts eventually from the government shutdown. Although no flights are being impacted right now, at least because of the disagreements on Capitol Hill. News 6's Mark Lehman looks at what travelers can expect.
Hours into the government shutdown, travelers we spoke with say they weren't too worried about what they would encounter today as they walk through TSA. Those questions, however, will be increasing about what things will look like as the stalemate drags on for days or possibly longer.
And then to have this come out like the night before we leave, it's really annoying.
Sue Ellen Bullock is beginning her vacation by learning about the partial government shutdown and the effect it could have on her return flight home. What kind of concerns do you have with the shutdown?
Just anything could happen, getting stuck here, canceled flights.
TSA agents and air traffic controllers are considered essential federal employees and will continue to work, but without pay. That also means things could get messy if the shutdown drags on.
I was a mailman for 34 years, so I know what the hassle is about not getting paid.
Many remember the 34-day government shutdown in 2018 when roughly 10% of TSA workers called in sick, driving up screening times at airports across the country.
Coming back probably in another week or two, there may be a little slowdown, or call out.
The airport releasing a statement today saying in part the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority does not anticipate that operations at MCO will be affected, and we hope there will be a resolution soon. Meanwhile, those traveling today are expressing their frustrations with Congress.
And it's a blame game. It's unfortunate it's just a blame game.
Yeah.
They can't do what they're elected to do, and that's to do the job for us.
And as lawmakers are meeting in the Capitol today, the hope is that a spending bill will be passed sooner rather than later. Travelers, meanwhile, tell us that they will do their best to plan ahead no matter the circumstance. For now, reporting at Orlando International Airport, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thank you. A place you will see impacts from the government shutdown are America's national parks. The National Park Service is furloughing nearly 2/3 of its workforce, including at Canaveral National Seashore, stretching from Titusville to New Smyrna Beach. CBS's Gwen Baumgardner looks at the concerns some have about what could happen next.
America's national parks are open to nature, yet partially closed by politics amid a federal government shutdown. Visitors can still witness much of the park's beauty, but areas like visitor centers, concession stands, and some bathrooms are closed. That raises concerns about potential problems.
We know how people run amok when there's no supervision.
During previous shutdowns, the lack of staffing has led to a lack of decorum. Trash piling up, restrooms left uncleaned, and in 2019, illegal camping and rampant vandalism, like this damaged Joshua tree.
You're just asking for these kinds of things to happen.
Teresa Pierno is president of the National Parks Conservation Association. She says staffing for the National Park Service is down 24% since President Trump took office, not including seasonal hires. The NPCA is one of several groups arguing the park should close until the government reopens to avoid a repeat of 2019.
We had scientists, that were cleaning bathrooms, and historians and interpreters that were doing other jobs, and therefore their jobs were going undone. And so now when you go ahead and you take away and furlough most of those employees and have a very skeleton crew, they have to choose what to do and what not to do.
The uncertainty of what's ahead is also worrisome for private companies that rely on tourism.
We're obviously going to do less business. No people, we're not going to be doing any business.
The NPCA estimates gateway communities near the parks could lose $77 million a day, and the parks themselves $1 million a day from lost entrance fees. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Something that is staying open during the shutdown, Kennedy Space Center's visitor complex. KSC sent us a statement saying since it is operated for NASA by Delaware North, a New York-based hospitality company, and is not supported by the government or taxpayer funding, it can stay open.
A long-awaited addition to Orlando International Airport is finally finished. The first travelers walked across that pedestrian bridge connecting Terminal C, the train station, and Terminal Link today. It was all in the original design for the terminal, but it got cut as a part of cost-saving measures when the pandemic slowed construction there at MCO. The walkways will be extended once the entire project, including the rental car lobby, opens next year. A third set of moving walkways will also be installed. News 6 has been covering these issues, not having the pedestrian bridge that has been caused for travelers for years. Before now, travelers had to carry their stuff through the parking garage with no AC and joints that caused suitcases to get stuck and fall over. It was a real pain.
The owner of a Massachusetts travel agency remains wanted in Volusia County after dozens of high school students were tricked out of their trip money. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says 104 Seabreeze High School students and chaperones paid Stone and Compass Travel for what was supposed to be a 9-day class trip to Italy and Greece. Each traveler paid at least $3,500 to the company, owned by Robert Goodall, for the June 2024 trip for a grand total of around $400,000. But in May, the agency emailed everyone that it was going out of business and had no money to offer refunds. Shortly thereafter, the agency's website went down and all attached phone numbers and emails went inactive. An investigation by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office revealed the agency was being sued by numerous other organizations for similar allegations, including Flagler College in St. Augustine. Goodwin faces money laundering and organized scheme to defraud charges. His bond has been set at $4 million whenever he is arrested. News 6's Darrell Baker spoke with a student who paid to be on that trip. Hear from them coming up at 6. Officials in De Leon Springs are hoping a new project will help improve traffic flow and safety in one of the area's busiest intersections.
A new roundabout is now open at the intersection of US 17, State Road 15, and Spring Garden Avenue, Spring Garden Ranch Road there. Trooper Steve drove through the new roundabout to show you how to do it.
You do lose the left travel lane momentarily. So, no phone zone, speed fines are doubled if you are pulled over for speeding out here. And you got to just make sure you're paying attention. So there's that left lane closure as you're northbound on US 17. Then, right side of the roadway, what do we see? We see the warning, hey, you're approaching a roundabout coming up. 25 miles an hour. For demonstration purposes, we're moving over into the left travel lane. Look at the ground and the signs. It says I can continue left around or I can go straight through from this. We're looking, we're slowing down because it says yield. No one's in the roundabout. We're going to continue through. We're continuing straight. I'm staying in. I'm signaling because I'm exiting and we are out. This is not, it should not be hard if you're 100% paying attention, and you got to know what you're doing, right? You have to know, hey, I need to be in this lane in order to accomplish this maneuver.
Hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekday mornings at 10, live on News 6 Plus, a streaming app for your smart TV, or clickorlando.com.
Another community is taking a stand to try and make last calls for drinks happen earlier. Why officials say it is something that is needed. Jonathan.
And we are watching some drier air pour in. It's going to be very short-lived, though, as we're going to increase and change the weather pattern to bring us some more moisture to help get some downpours going. We're going to track downpours for the into your weekend coming up after this short break.
What is the right call for last call? That's the question city after city has been wrestling with when it comes to alcohol and downtown bars. Across much of Central Florida, last call is at 2 a.m. It's the default across these 6 counties.
But cities can put their own rules into place if they want to, and Kissimmee is the latest to do just that, starting today. Downtown businesses need a special permit to serve from midnight until 2 a.m., and as your Kissimmee community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez explains, it all has to do with safety.
The City Commission felt it was necessary to keep the downtown area safe after recent shootings after midnight. The change is officially in place just months after the City Commission unanimously approved creating a permit for businesses that want to sell alcohol past midnight. It's a move some bar owners felt would drive business to other areas.
And if we do this, Kissimmee is a destination, they'll just leave. That's what they'll do.
The permit costs $250 and gives the chief of police the ability to suspend a bar's permit if there is an incident or safety concern.
No le veo lo negativo, al contrario, se ve bien positivo.
Angel Ayala has lived in Kissimmee for 15 years and tells me he doesn't see any negatives to the permit.
Sería conveniente porque tienes un poco más de control.
He feels it will make the city safer. Others, like Luis Vigil, agree and think last call should be even earlier. What time do you think they should stop selling alcohol in downtown Kissimmee?
Stop selling around 10 p.m. That's, the correct time.
This isn't the only change downtown bars have had to adapt to recently. Last month, the City Commission changed its noise ordinance requiring businesses in the downtown area to lower their music volumes. I'm your Kissimmee community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Let's get you over to our meteorologist, Jonathan Kegas. Pretty calm radar behind you right now.
Yeah, about time to, at least along the coast, you know what I'm talking about. It's been on the drier side west of Orlando for the most part of the last couple of days. Nonetheless, that's where we do have a few stray downpours that got warm enough to pop a couple of them. Otherwise, these are going to be very short-lived. Ton of dry air coming in the mid-levels of our atmosphere. That should gobble those showers right up. We'll be watching this kind of band, if you will, working its way off of the Atlantic. It's going to work its way down, and these are moving from the north back to the south. So may clip us right along the Space Coast over the next couple of hours. You can track those downpours and the bigger downpours, at least more widespread downpours we have coming back into the picture tomorrow with the free News 6 weather app. Now here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
Rain chances back to 50%. The further east you are, closer to the beaches, that's where it's going to be the higher opportunity to see them. Although, as I'll show you in future radar, they will be widely scattered tomorrow. 85 for us in Leesburg, Ocala. Good evening. We are back to 84 tomorrow. Now timing out the downpours. There's 6, 7 o'clock tonight. Again, we could pop a couple of stray downpours, mainly along into the west of I-75 for the rest of the evening. Most of us are going to be dry. There's 9 o'clock tonight, and there's some of those downpours to try to sneak on shore from what I just showed you again with that breeze off of the Atlantic. We really increase the breeze tomorrow off the Atlantic, and that's why we see the increase of downpour and thunderstorm chances. That's going to be 8 o'clock on your Thursday morning. So, again, don't be surprised if on your commute into work tomorrow you see some of those downpours, especially closer to I-95. And if you do have plans to run some errands tomorrow, just driving into work or school, that we do have the downpours in the forecast earlier in the day. So kind of a different look and feel. That's 2 o'clock on your Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. Those scattered thunderstorms and downpours kind of passing from east to west. Shouldn't be a ton of lightning with these. Most of these are just going to be heavier tropical downpours, but nonetheless, they're going to be out there tomorrow through the afternoon. There's a lunchtime or midnight on Friday. We're going to be watching those kind of fade for the evening and then back again through the afternoon. Here's a live look in Daytona Beach now. Certainly the surf is cranked up, and this is something that we are going to keep with us all the way through the weekend. The impacts from the hurricanes are going to wane. But nonetheless, with that breeze increasing off of the Atlantic, we're going to increase the surf. We're at 81 degrees right now. The breeze right now out of the north at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Again, we're going to keep the small craft advisory in play through the weekend, and then also the high surf advisory through the weekend. Again, wave heights right now into that 6 to 8 foot range, breaking along the coast, and then we're going to keep them elevated not only for the rest of tonight, but you see they even get bigger getting into Friday and Saturday And that's going to be a combination between two systems. High pressure to our north and lower pressure to our south is pushing that easterly breeze. Look at the wind gusts tomorrow, pushing 30 miles an hour, and that will keep the wind speed elevated as we move into Friday and into the start of your weekend as well. Again, the impacts from Imelda and Umberto, that is no longer a hurricane anymore, now post-tropical. But watching for Bermuda, they might get a landfall tonight, and that's super rare. We keep on talking about that because the island itself is just so tiny. If you're keeping track at home, we now have 4 hurricanes on the season, 3 of those becoming major, none of them impacting Florida, at least directly. 60% shot for storms Friday and into the weekend. We're keeping things unsettled into early next work week.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, after the break, a professional fighter's training came in pretty handy. Somebody broke into his house. We're going to show you what happened in that case.
Coming up in the morning, a new push to combat the mental health crisis,
where nearly a dozen groups are coming together for a very special event and sending a visual message as well.
Plus your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 6.
Well, there's really no other way to say it. A South Florida man tried to break into the wrong home.
He tried to get inside a home just outside of Fort Lauderdale, only to be met with a mixed martial artist who lived there. Joan Murray with our CBS affiliate in Miami spoke with the fighter and his family about the ordeal.
I'm prepared. It's not my first time. I don't feel in pain. Nothing.
Henny Rowe's been training 3 years as a mixed martial artist. Early Saturday, his boxing, wrestling, and kick moves were put to the test when he confronted an intruder who had forced his way into his family's home.
I don't like guns. I'm not looking for a knife or nothing. Only God and my hands. That's it.
He's also invoking his right to remain silent.
Yes, I'll go ahead and
grant the photo order. Sir, you're charged with home invasion.
Facing a judge a few hours after his encounter with Henny, it's clear 31-year-old Austin Carasani was no match for a mixed martial artist. His face black and blue from the blows. He told Whitland Manors police he had been drinking at a local club and was attempting to go to his friend Paul's house, who resides in the area.
He was screaming all day. So he said, "Hey, Mom, please call the police. Somebody broke out in my house."
Patricia Rojas is Henny's sister. She and her husband were out in Miami last weekend when they got that terrifying call from their teenage son, who alerted Henny a stranger was in the living room.
"Oh, uncle, wake up, wake up." So the guy was freezing, so both of us, they come running fast and started pushing him in the face.
Austin Carasani uses this apartment in Deerfield Beach. We tried to reach a relative, but no one answered. Carasani remains in jail. Henny tells me given the chance, he would not change a thing.
Protect your family because the demon is outside. A lot of crazy people. He don't believe in God. He only looking for damage.
You know, the MMA fighter didn't have a mark on his face.
No, he looks just fine. Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we're working on for News 6 at 6.
Yeah, you always wonder what the other guy looks like, and now we know. Matt and Lisa, tonight, several local families are awaiting word of an arrest as law enforcement hunts for a travel agent accused of grand theft.
We didn't find out that we weren't going on the trip until maybe 3 days before the trip was supposed to happen.
Tonight, we are hearing from families holding out hope for a refund after a very expensive class trip was abruptly canceled. And it's closing time for a popular spot in Seminole County, the community reflecting on the impact of post-time lounge before it's gone for good. Next.
it was just kind of like a pain, you know, whenever we found out we weren't going on this trip. We had all the stuff planned.
A Central Florida class trip worth thousands of dollars canceled without refunds. What's next for the students and parents as a multi-state investigation has a Massachusetts company under fire?
A staple in Seminole County is closing its doors. After decades in business, Post Time Lounge and Cafe is getting ready to say goodbye.
Backstreet's Back? The record label that was instrumental in bringing pop music to the masses in the 1990s is making a comeback. Why it chose Central Florida for its big revival? News 6 at 6 starts now.
$400,000 stolen from more than 100 Seabreeze High School students.
The travel agent they paid for their senior trip disappeared with all that money. Volusia County has issued an arrest warrant for the suspect. News 6's Jarrell Baker is in the newsroom now. Jarrell, you spoke with one of the victims.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a trip of a lifetime, and students and chaperones paid more than $3,500. That's up from $10,000 from some families planning to go all for nothing. Now, according to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, in 2023, 104 Seabreeze High students and chaperones signed up with Stone and Compass Travel Agency for a 9-day class trip to Italy and Greece. Now, the price covered plane tickets, lodging, and excursions. But 1 month before the trip, the agency owner, Robert Goodwin, sent an email saying that they were going out of business. And there was no money for offer refunds, according to the investigators. Seabreeze High alum Gabe Slip, who's now in college, says that his family is trying to recover.
I was sad, you know. You kind of just like stripped something I was looking forward to all year away from me. We weren't really successful with it. We got a couple of our flight credits back from Delta.
Stone and Compass's website and contact information has been inactive since right after the trip was canceled. Now, according to investigators, Godwin faces charges of money laundering, organized scheme to defraud, and if and when they find him, his bond could be set around $4 million. Now, the sheriff's office also says that the agency was sued by several other organizations with similar accusations, including Flagler College in St. Augustine. Matt.
Jarrell, thank you. Let's take a live look now over Daytona Beach. Both Hurricane Humberto and Imelda may have avoided landfall here, but it did not stop the wind and waves along Central Florida's coast.
No, it didn't. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is tracking the latest for us tonight. Jonathan.
Yeah, we have a couple of itty-bitty downpours out there. The air is very dry, actually, courtesy of Imelda sliding off our coast. It's wrapping in some drier air, and the downpours have really just kind of turned to a couple of showers out there in West Orange County and into parts of Lake County. Again, some of that barely even reaching the ground. There's a heavier little band hanging off the Atlantic coast right now. These are pushing in from north to south, so I'll be watching that for you guys over the next couple of hours. Again, it's nothing too crazy, just a heavier downpour ready to push through in the next couple of hours. Matt mentioned it. You guys saw it right off the top there. Daytona Beach still a little rough out there. Large breaking waves going to continue. That high surf advisory still in play through the early morning hours of Saturday. That might even need to be extended through the entirety of the weekend because we're expecting 6 to 10 foot waves all the way through at least Saturday. We'll talk much more on that and the increasing rain chances starting tomorrow coming up at about 6:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. New at 6 now. Verbal shots fired at the city of Orlando and Orange County. Governor Ron DeSantis and the state's chief financial officer say they have found multiple examples of wasteful spending as a part of their DOGE audit. During a press conference in Jacksonville today, Governor DeSantis and Blaise Ingoglia said Orange County spent $223,000 for LGBT youth services that, quote, promote gender ideology to youth populations. They also claim the city of Orlando spent $150,000 over 3 years to help illegals evade deportation and $460,000 since 2020 to count trees as a part of the city's tree inventory.
The city of Orlando is paying almost $500,000 to count trees. To count trees. Maybe they're trying to find the money tree. Oh, wait, never mind. They actually found it, you, the taxpayers.
We reached out to Orlando and Orange County for comment. A county spokeswoman says they'll comment tomorrow. We haven't heard back yet from Orlando.
The city of Palm Bay could soon be in the process of potentially removing a member of their city council.
We told you yesterday how Councilman Chandler Langevin in Palm Bay is back in the hot seat over what he's been saying on social media about minority groups. Your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero, has a new response from the councilman to those calling for him to resign.
The city councilman who said that Indians don't care about America, are destroying the South, and should all be deported, is responding to the councilman who wants him to step down. Chandler Langevin declined to talk to me about his comments, but he wrote on X, where his comments originated, "I will not apologize, I will not resign, I will not be removed from office."
And so, no, I'm not going to apologize.
Councilman Langevin was also unapologetic in February after he said the political ideology of Islam doesn't belong in the United States.
There's nothing wrong with that, with saying that.
And just 2 weeks ago, when he called an event in memory of Charlie Kirk that he organized, a march against, quote, left-wing evil.
How do you react to the criticism against the name of the event?
They're wrong.
Enough's enough. Tuesday, I talked to Councilman Kenny Johnson right after he added this to Thursday night's council agenda. If Langevin won't step down on his own, a majority of council members can vote to ask Governor DeSantis to remove him.
I pray that he does have a change of heart, but if he doesn't, then I'm looking to move forward as such.
Yeah, I got mailed it too.
2 years ago, another Palm Bay councilman was asked to step down, and he did.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Pete Filiberto got a DUI after police said officers found cocaine in his socks. This year, though, Filiberto's back in government.
Madam Chair, just one question.
Deputy Mayor Mike Jaffe put him on the Planning and Zoning Board, which reviews development plans. Tuesday night, Mayor Rob Medina tried holding an emergency meeting about Langevin's comments,
which have caused so much pain.
But only 2 of 5 council members were there, so they didn't have a quorum, and therefore, people who came to speak weren't broadcast. For those coming back Thursday night, the regular council meeting will take up the proposal to call for Langevin's suspension. Our coverage will continue then. In Brevard County, I'm your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero. News 6.
Tonight, the mayor of Eatonville is setting the record straight about 24 hours after the city reached a deal on the future of the historic Hungerford property. The vote comes amid controversy when some council members say they were left in the dark about the agreement. The 117-acre site was once a school for black students in the 1890s. The future plans are to build a learning center and a healthcare facility, a gathering place, and more. Mayor Angie Gardner says the way she struck a deal between OCPS and the Dr. Phillips Charities was not intended to trick or undermine anyone.
Because of what it involves, it really was a bigger issue. So the perception is that everything was done secretively. Yes, we had to keep it very confidential because of obvious reasons, but nothing was done underhanded or anything like that.
Mayor Gardner says the agreement reflects the city's master plan and includes all the feedback and input from the public and council members during an 18-month period. A public meeting is scheduled for Friday where the people who live in Eatonville can learn more about the agreement and the next steps.
Well, if you've driven down 1792 in Seminole County, you probably passed Post Time Lounge. It's been a staple in Longwood longer than most people can remember. But the iconic restaurant and entertainment venue known for its live music is closing its doors. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, takes us there.
It's 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. The doors just opened at Post Time Lounge in Longwood, ready for regulars.
I've been here at least 20 years, maybe more.
For decades, these 4 walls have hosted crowds on the dance floor.
I've come for the live bands, the delicious food.
Strangers who have become friends at tables.
Just a lot of great food, great times.
It's one of Central Florida's oldest neighborhood watering holes.
It started out as a place to come after the races. Dog track was up here.
A lot of my favorite memories, I'm sitting by the fire pit. Halloween parties are always a blast.
People go to Post Time for a good time. But now it's time to say goodbye.
When did you find out that they would be closing their doors soon? I just found out last night. Yeah, when I came for karaoke, actually. So I just found out, they told me, and I was just heartbroken.
The phones just started ringing off the hook. Like people were in disbelief and a shock.
Brian Leone, who goes by the name Red, says it's been a difficult year.
We lost the owner in the beginning of this year, Mike, and things started kind of going all over the place.
He started working with Post Time as a promoter and even brought CeeLo Green to perform last year.
It has been a staple here.
It's definitely an historical venue at this point. It's known for its Fridays and Saturday nights with the live bands.
The owner, Mike Penner, was amazing at keeping his finger on the pulse.
Orlando Silva started working at Post Time as a karaoke host.
This has been a big part of so many people's lives. Either you've worked here or you've come to enjoy the food and the entertainment.
Dozens of people have shared similar thoughts on this Facebook post from the general manager, who announced this week Post Time will be closing November 2nd.
I found out I was going to be a grandmother here, like 3 years ago.
We consider the staff to be friends, and it was sad. Everybody here is like family.
People we met Wednesday told us they're just thankful for the music and the memories. In Seminole County,
I just hate to see it go.
Catherine Silver, News 6.
We all hate to see it go. Much more coming up on News 6 at 6, including some great news for pop music fans.
Yeah, that's right. One of the biggest record labels from the 90s is making a comeback. Up next, a story you will see only right here on News 6. Music producers shared their vision for bringing back a popular sound from the 90s and 2000s. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
Well, how about this blast from the past? Transcontinental Records. They kicked off the boy band craze right here in Central Florida, including one of the most successful music groups in the world, the Backstreet Boys.
They sure did. It's a story you'll see only on News 6. I spoke with two producers who are taking up the label name and are looking to make music history yet again. The Backstreet Boys' first ever TV performance was right here in our own Studio B.
Which two of you are from Orlando? What is your name?
I'm AJ McLean.
AJ, and who are you?
Howie D.
Back then, AJ, Nick, Howie, Brian, and Kevin were just kids with big dreams. Tell Me That I'm Dreaming was later released on a 4-song CD 30 years ago last month.
And it sold 15 million copies.
This right here with the
Yes,
4 songs on it.
The original.
Tim Coons was the original music producer for the Backstreet Boys. He recently caught their show Into the Millennium at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
The whole crowd is singing the songs after the show, and I was like, what? You know, this is amazing to see how popular they still are after almost 33 years. They started in this room where I'm sitting.
Transcontinental Records, or Transcon as many knew it, helped launch the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and other chart toppers in the 90s and early 2000s.
This was the pop music capital of the world.
Now, new leaders say the success of shows like the one in Las Vegas proves this is the right time for Orlando to reclaim its place on the global pop map.
I remember when the first time I ever heard Quit Playing Games With My Heart. I remember sitting in the art room at my high school. The second I heard it, I almost knew, like, this is something different. Like, I've never heard this before.
That different sound, the soundtrack of a generation, was being created in a small Central Florida studio. Around just about every corner, there are happy memories when times were good and the music was flowing. But they know they can't ignore the dark side under founder Lou Pearlman.
I want the spotlight to be on the artists, and they want to separate the Transcontinental Records from the Airlines scandal and the investment scheme and stuff that they honestly were victims of themselves.
For Pasquin and Coons, the relaunch is about separating the music from the scandal and honoring both the artist and the fans.
Tell me why ain't nothing. I mean, come on. That's all you get. That's all you have to sing. Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, and everybody just breaks out into song.
And it brings back a different feeling for you, a different feeling for you, a different feeling for the fans. It's very personal.
And this isn't just about reviving a brand.
Now it's really about looking forward and hoping that we can bring around the next crop and kind of give Orlando its music pop back, pun intended. You know, that would be a real opportunity and a real blessing.
I tell you, honestly, around every corner, it was like walking back in time, and it was great.
Such an unassuming look. It looks like a Five Guys would be right next to it.
Correct. You don't know. All that history was made right there in that home, in that studio. Is about the size of the desk. It's really amazing.
And the Backstreet Boys would have been nothing without News 6 and that performance.
That's
right
what we tried to tell
studio.
them. Yeah, we got to try and get them
Need
together.
to get some royalties.
That's amazing.
We got
Good luck with
meteorologist
that.
Jonathan Kegas. He's joining us now. How are we looking weather-wise?
Pretty good tonight. There are a few stray downpours in the mix. We have a lot of dry air through the Florida Peninsula right now, so those downpours are going to be few and far between. It's tomorrow that we're going to increase those rain chances again, and really the coast, that's going to be the main issue. If you do have beach plans over the next several days and through the weekend, it's not going to be the best beach days. Not only are we adding rain chances to the mix, the surf is also going to stay pretty choppy out there, pretty rough. We do have downpours out to sea. These are going to try to sneak into the Space Coast over the next couple of hours, mainly after 8, 9 o'clock tonight. There are these itty-bitty downpours, again, hanging around Four Corners, just on the west side of Kissimmee into Point Siena. These are quick hitting tonight. Certainly no lightning with these. And again, the drier air that's in play going to gobble these right up. There's 6, 7 o'clock. And if you want to track these downpours, the free New 6 weather app, great tool to do so. You're going to need it tomorrow to come in handy if you have to make any outdoor plans. There's 6, 7 o'clock on your Wednesday evening. Again, there are those stray downpours we were talking about. I think we take a break for most of the overnight, but early in the morning we bring these back. So again, don't be surprised on your morning commute if you need to use the windshield wipers again, mainly along I-95, a couple of stray ones through the I-4 corridor though. As we shift the wind back off the Atlantic, that's what brings the moisture back into central Florida. There's 1 o'clock on your Thursday afternoon with scattered downpours, maybe a few rumbles of thunder in the mix. Then I think we take a short break, and then we'll do it again as we get into the early stages of Friday. That's midnight on Friday with those scattered downpours still hanging around. Still breezy out there as well. This is a live look, Port Canaveral, Brevard County, with our launch credit union camera this evening. We have air temperatures in the lower 80s right now, reporting a few stray showers in the mix at the airport. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. The breeze does stay with us. Note the arrows, though. They're back off the Atlantic, and it's going to increase a little bit as we move through the next couple of days. This is Friday. We have wind gusts pushing 30, 35 miles an hour throughout a lot of central Florida. And again, note the arrows again out of the east, off of the Atlantic. That helps to pump in the extra moisture to get the downpours and thunderstorms going. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Rain chances getting back up to 50% tomorrow. We're at 84 in Ocala, 84 also for us in Oviedo, Titusville. Good evening. We're at 84 as well. Mims will be back to the low to mid 80s. Now, over the next few days, while we do have scattered downpours in the mix throughout a lot of central Florida tomorrow, this is where we're going to focus things. The best opportunity for the most widespread rain going to be right along the I-95 corridor, maybe sneaking as far to the east as the I-4 corridor. But notice the further west you are, the less rain we're going to pick up over the next 5 days. That takes us right on through the weekend. Speaking of through the weekend, we'll have the first weekend of October, and some big changes happen. Of course, today the sun sets at 7:10 on Halloween, October 31st. The sun then sets at 6:40 in the evening. One of the positive things, though, average high temperature today is 88. That's going to drop to 81 degrees. We're going to lose 44 minutes of daylight, though, when you put that all together. Now, over the next 7 days in the tropics, we are looking good. No new development is expected. The rain chances, though, going up to close out the work week and get on into your weekend. Again, the main deal, dangerous at the beach through the weekend, guys.
Jonathan, thank you.
Jamie Say is here. Jamie, you met the Warriors on the water.
I did. They're an incredible team of women right here in Central Florida, and they took me for a boat ride last Wednesday, okay? Let's roll the video because here we are on Lake Fairview, and that's where you can find the Warriors.
I see you in there.
Every Wednesday, yeah. I kind of blend in, but not really because they're way better than me. That's for you next. Today marks the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. According to the American Cancer Society, over 300,000 Americans are diagnosed with the disease every year. Central Florida offers many support groups for breast cancer fighters and survivors. It's time to meet one of them and go dragon boating with the Warriors on Water. It's a picture-perfect evening on Orlando's Lake Fairview, and the Warriors on Water are at work. Directed by their coach, the 20 paddlers on board this dragon boat are in perfect sync.
There's a feeling on the boat when the boat is just going in sync, and you can feel everybody paddling together, and there's a strength.
Another bond connects these women, something deeply personal.
I'm a breast cancer survivor, 7 years.
It was right before Christmas in 2005.
I was diagnosed at 34, so a little over 10 years ago now.
I was diagnosed in 2004, so I am a 21 breast cancer survivor.
Founded in 2009 for breast cancer survivors, Orlando's Warriors on Water are more than teammates. They're also a support system and a sisterhood.
It meant I found somewhere that I belonged. Before I joined about a year ago, I didn't really know anybody that went through what I went through.
We can talk about anything going on, or we can talk about treatment and like share stories about what doctor to go to, and just have someone that you know went through the same thing.
They're my sisters. If you need something, there's always somebody there for you.
They lean on each other while pushing themselves. Paddling the dragon boat is physically demanding. It requires strength and endurance. The Warriors love it. Coming together weekly for practice, the Warriors compete against other dragon boat teams with breast cancer survivors from Florida, from across the country, and even from around the world.
We work hard when we're on the boat. There's no way not to. Yeah, it's a big, heavy boat, and there's only one way it's going to move, and we're the people that are going to make it move.
Warriors, we survive something all together. We all have that common bond.
The Warriors will be competing in France next year. On to the NFL now. It's week 5. Teams are already unhappy with their starting quarterbacks, and that's a good thing for former UCF Knight Dillon Gabriel. Browns are starting him at QB Sunday against the Vikings in London. Cleveland bench veteran Joe Flacco to give the rookie Gabriel his first career start. So that's going to be a very big moment for him.
And he beat out Shutdown.
Yeah, Shador's still number 3 on the depth chart for the Cleveland Browns.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Jamie, say thank you. Loved your story,
Yeah,
by
it was
the way.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Go
More news
Warriors.
coming up at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com, your News 6 Plus streaming app.
We'll see you then. Until then, have a good night.